Good early morning to everyone watching. Welcome to Cattywampus Acres. It's Jason, and I'm gonna get this firebox going so we can get the smoker fired up and we can get going on this whole hog smoke. This is the third part in our 3-part series where we took a pig that we raised here in our homestead and we turned it into food, and we turned it into a meal for our family and our friends. I'll link all the videos up in the top so you can make sure you can catch up on those if this is the first one you're watching. In the first video I built a butchering station because we do not have a tractor, so I needed a way to hoist the pig and scald and scrape and do all that stuff. In the second video we took our first shot at butchering a pig. It went pretty well. We learned a little bit, so make sure you check those two out as well. But for this third one, we're going to be getting our smoker going, prepping our hog, and we're going to be doing a whole hog roast. I have smoked stuff before. I've never done a whole hog, so this is going to be new to me. Hopefully it goes well, and I'm glad you guys get to come along with us. Let's go. So this is our burn barrel. This is how we're going to make our coals for the smoker. I may add full pieces of wood along the way depending on how I want to control temperature and basically how I feel about how much smoke is in there. I just bought a barrel from a local guy. I cut a entry point into the bottom that I'll use my shovel to get into, and I put it very nearby my smoker so I'm not carrying a bunch of hot coals all over the place. And then inside I just crisscrossed four X-shaped rebars, and that's what's going to basically, we're going to build our fire on top. As it burns down, we'll have coals fall down to the bottom. I'll take the coals, shovel them out, and shovel them into our firebox. So that's the plan. One thing I wanted to bring up, which is pretty cool for this smoke, I guess, and this whole process, is this pig we raised since she was a bit smaller. We got her from our friends over at Big Bear Homestead. She turned out to be, after weighing her, we found out she's about 120 pounds. So after we dressed her out, she's right about 80 pounds, and in my opinion, that's perfect for a whole hog roast. Another thing that's cool is the wood we're going to be using in the smoker was all from trees that we cut down here in our homestead. Right behind me here used to be about a 50-foot water oak, a red oak, and cut that down a while ago, and that wood's been resting and seasoning. And then I'm going to use some peach wood from the peach trees that were here long before I was, that I ended up having to cut down. So it's really cool, and in my opinion, that's pretty exciting that almost everything that's just from our farm. So you're talking about 90% self-sufficiency in this particular case. I think it's awesome. All right, we got this rolling good, so just need to get this fire just cooking with some big logs, start making some coals in the bottom, and then we're gonna dress out this pig. All right, as you can see here, I've taken the reciprocating saw and went down the spine between the shoulder blades here and all the way down the spine, best I could. I don't make a real straight line, and then just made sure I could open her all the way up without damaging any of the loin meat, which is up under here, tenderloins, which are down here. And just trying to not do as little damage to anything that's good. The nice thing is she's pretty cold. You know, we had her in the an outdoor fridge since we did the slaughter. It is sort of chilly outside today, so it'll make it sort of easier to cut them. And basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna do my best to expose a bunch of this ham because I want to make sure that we can get a lot of dry rub on it. And we're going to try and waste as little as we possibly can, being that it sort of means a little bit more when this thing didn't come from a butcher. This came from our yard. I feel like we're respecting the animal more the more we use. Yeah, if I see any glands or anything, I'm going to remove those. leaf lard I'm going to save, trying to not destroy the bacon or anything. And I'm making sure my knives are really sharp. And then a lot of times all you got to do is just barely touch it. And I'd keep a sharpening steel over here just so we can do it. I'm thinking since she's 80 pounds, thinking we're going to probably be around, if I do 250 on the smoker, we'll probably, hopefully, be shooting for around 12 hours. Loins look really good back here. Lauren's got some bacon, and we're going to lay the bacon in this area to make sure that the loins up here are protected. Don't want to destroy those. Alrighty, we got her all cleaned up. She's been washed. I basically went through, removed any of the silver skin. I went through if there's a gland I saw, anything like that. Those were removed. Basically what I did up here, and let us know in the comments what you guys do if you do a whole hog. It seems that everybody who barbecues has their own way and that their way is the only way, but this is how we're gonna do it. And what I did is I exposed every bit of meat that I possibly could on this side of the pig, and then it's all skin on the other side. And I did that because I want to make sure that I get dry rub on everything. Although she's 80 pounds, she's not your typical feeder pig, and so the meat's in different places and different amounts, so I want to make sure that every bit of meat is covered with some good dry rub. What I did next is I have a Oklahoma Joe's injector, and I mixed up an injection, and basically all it is thank you. It's a apple juice, peach juice, apple cider vinegar mix. And so that's what we're going to inject with, plus some spices. And I'm not trying to cover my secret, I just don't know I don't remember what I put in there. It is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and inject to make sure all the meat is full of injection, and we'll go from there, and then we'll cover what we're gonna do next. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to take some bacon and cover up the loins here. Make sure they stay nice and moist. Alright, loins are covered up, and now our next step is to get some mustard and dry rub. Alright, now we're at the fun part. I made some dry rub, and I'm going to put some mustard on it first, but for dry rub, I make my own. I always have brown sugar, salt, pepper, paprika, Cajun seasoning, garlic, maybe some other stuff. But yep, just however I like. I just taste it, and that's how I do. I always like a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy. So next, I'm going to do a light coat of mustard, just to sort of help with our bark on here. And like I said, because I exposed as much meat as I could, we should have a bunch of bark on here, and it should turn out pretty good. And another thing I did, I cut underneath the ribs. That's why you see the ribs poking up like that. I just wanted to get more access. It may, I don't know, it may dry them out a little bit. We'll see. I've heard mixed results about it, so I don't know. We're not doing it for presentation purposes by any means. And I'm going to put it pretty liberally on here. Once again, no recipes here at Cattywampus Acres. While I'm doing this, I want to remind you, if you're not part of our Cattywampus crew, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. And that subscribe button doesn't mean a heck of a whole lot unless you hit the bell next to it. And the bell will keep you up to date with everything we're doing here on the farm. And if you like this video and our series of videos, please consider hitting that like button. And as you can see, everywhere I have dry rub is exposed meat. That's what I think is awesome. And what we'll do is once she's got a good amount of smoke in her, however many hours that takes, probably halfway through, I will come back through and start mopping. Just to sort of take you through what everything is. You got spare ribs, loin back or baby back ribs, bacon, pork belly, whatever you want to call it, hocks, shoulders or butts, picnics is in here. Like I said, she's got small ones, so it's not overly noticeable. Underneath here, you call them back straps in deer. Loins, you have tenderloins down here. These are hams. They're really good size hams for her size. Bacon, hock. Jowls or pork cheeks. Those are up here. And I'm sure I'm missing something, but yeah, that's a pig. So now I'm gonna make sure our smoker's good, and we're gonna throw her on the smoker. All right, our pit is rocking and rolling. This is an offset, if you didn't know. So we have our fire box down there, and our pigs in here. I put the head down at this end close to the fire pit because I'm not concerned about appearance, and the skin will sort of shield any kind of extra heat that's going on in here. Got our ThermoPro thermometer. We're looking. I put one probe in the ham, and that's only at 81 degrees right now. And I have one on the actual smoker itself. We're right around about 225. I'll show you. That's what. Let me bring you in close. That's what we're looking like right now. Here's the plan. We're gonna let this take in a bunch of good smoke for the first several hours. When I see that it's sort of developing a good bark on it, then I'm gonna come in and start mopping it with a mopping sauce. In the meantime, I need to probably take a little nap because I was up bright and early this morning. But yeah, I'm gonna keep the drum going with coals, so it's gonna make sure that that's cooking all day, and I can just keep throwing wood in that. That's what's nice, and keep hot coals rolling. And so whenever I need hot coals to raise the temperature in here, I can scoop them out, drop them in the firebox. If I need the temperature to really go up high in my firebox, I'm just gonna put a log on. If I need smoke, I'm gonna put a wet log on. It's just simple. That's the way I'm doing it. It is what it is. Everybody's got their method. Everybody's got different smokers. I like this method. But for now, we're going to check back with you in a little bit. And next time you see me, we'll be mopping. Well, hey, welcome back. It's only been like a couple seconds for you, but it's been about 4.5 hours since I started old Bertha here, and it's time for me. No, just kidding. I'm not gonna drink that. I got mopping sauce that I made, so I need to put the first dose of mop on her. Our smoker temperature is about 265-ish, and the internal temperature of the ham 147. So it's coming along very good. So if you're not familiar with barbecuing pork, and you've never done like a mop sauce before, basically all I do is I always make sure I have plenty of apple cider vinegar in there, because I feel like that always adds a good flavor profile, if you will. It's me trying to sound fancy. Essentially what you're doing is you're putting a whole bunch of moisture back on the pork. Yeah, she's looking good. She is looking good. Going back. Like I've said before, I'm no pro at this, but what I know happens with pork, specifically pork butts and hams and things, the rooster's just going crazy. Large cuts of pork. What you'll see is the pork will get up to about 160 in a fairly reasonable time. 160, 165, which, to my understanding, is edible. If you were to eat this pork at 160, 165 degrees, yeah, you probably wouldn't get sick, but it's going to be so tough and so stringy, and it's not pulled pork like you're thinking of. So we don't want it at that temperature. And what you'll see is, and what I've noticed over the years when I smoke foods, is they'll get to that 160, 165, and you think you're about done, but it'll just continuously sit at that temperature for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, you'll see it shoot up to 180, 185, 190. And then and what I've always done is kept it at that temperature for 45 minutes, an hour. Basically, my understanding of what happens is when that temperature shoots up that 20-30 degrees, that's when the fat all renders down. And so don't jump the gun on your pork. We're gonna let her go. It'll probably be at 160, 165 in the next hour. We have a lot of smoke that's been absorbed into the pig, so this is when I want to start mopping. And for my mop sauce, it literally is apple cider vinegar, apple cider for the sweetness, and red pepper flakes, some brown sugar, and just some, I think, some Cajun seasoning, some other spices, some salt. Nothing big, like I said. I don't measure anything when I cook. All right, well, we are nearing, let's see here. We're nearing about 11 and a half hours, and she's getting close. She's, it's starting to spike now. So where we were on the, I think we were on 158, 160 for probably somewhere in the area of, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. All right, ready? Why don't you grab that other transport. We're gonna go quick, okay? Watch. Okay,
I've got it.
All right, is it too hot?
No.
All right, well, grab up under her neck, and then let's move her. Ready? I know. All right, ready? All right, let's go. Up, over. There you go. All right. There we go.
Well done.
All righty.